Good afternoon, Santa Clarita. We're live. What happened to my Rocky song?
We were waiting for Rocky to
I don't know what happened.
It'll come back. Don't worry. I'll have it for the next break. I promise.
I'm like, that's our tradition, It's not even Rocky, really. It's called the Ask Brien theme song.
That's the cue to start talking.
We're going to be trying to change that around. So we have, again, my co-host, Patty.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hello, Patty Handy here.
And then we have our wonderful established guest, Claudia.
Claudia
Hi there.
Sheridan.
So happy to be here.
And so...
Have you back.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go over a couple of things. So Patty and I were talking about the Ask Brien website earlier, so in case nobody watched. Anyway, Ask Brien is getting revised and revamped, and it's growing. And the big thing about the Ask Brien, if you've never heard about that before, is Ask Brien is basically a place to go to solve your problems. It's a business resource. So if you've got a business question, you want to ask somebody specifically, don't want to ask a friend, don't want to ask your family, don't want anyone else to know what's going on, you can kind of be incognito and go ahead and ask the community of Ask Brien. But also, more importantly, you can ask an expert. So, for instance, Claudia, she's an expert in Facebook. Hello.
Digital marketing, yes.
And so you can actually have an expert that'll answer your question. But it's not a Q&A site. Basically, we have videos, we have ebooks, we have blogs, and we have more information coming that basically is going to do anything you need to help you grow your business or start a business. So if somebody has never had a business before, they have a business and they've been operating for 25 years, but they've got a problem with their merchant account, they can ask the question. Usually there's an expert in merchant account to answer the question, and also the community itself may have a different perspective on that, because the experts looking at it from one perspective has maybe 5, 10, 20 years experience, and they're handling certain areas, whereas the community itself may say, you know what, I dealt with that last week, this is what happened, this is how I help. So basically, people helping people. That's what we're all about. What do you think about that, Patty?
I love it. I think the fact that it's just a great resource for whether it be a new business owner or somebody who's established. Things are always changing in the business industry, and there's so much, especially with the digital marketing and online resources, that it's so important to stay on top of your game with all that. And if we or anybody can get, free or very inexpensive help, by all means, it's all about, like you said, people helping people, and I think it's so important that we all help each other thrive in business, no doubt.
Now, you're going to be an expert in the mortgage category? What category are you going to be in?
I'm an expert in the mortgage industry, so sure, I can absolutely do that.
And what other categories are you an expert? You have so many skills.
Well, thank you. God bless you.
I didn't sneeze, but go ahead.
I am not. I have written 4 books and published self-books, so I've self-published, and I know that world quite a bit.
So what does self-publish mean?
That means you publish the book yourself. You don't send it off to a big house.
I got to sit there with a printer and clip out 19 copies and prints out.
You know where to go to get that help. Yeah, no, there's so many resources out there for people who will edit and will format, get your ISBN numbers, get your Library of Congress numbers, get your books printed, made, distributed.
I have to go through Congress for this?
There's so much. Yes, you kind of do.
The Library of Congress.
Library of Congress. So
do they have every book?
The Library of Congress?
Yes.
They should. Every book should have a Library of Congress number to it.
So how is that different from an ISBN?
An ISBN is your identifier.
And what is a Library of Congress?
It's your identifier in the Library of Congress.
Okay. I just started.
There's many facets to publishing a book.
Well, yes. I know about the copyright part because of my legal background. I just started a book. I just started a book last Saturday.
Nice. We talked about that at the last show. You were going to start doing that.
I showed the first 2 or 3 pages to Claudia.
Great.
She grilled me on it. Told me all my problems I've got.
Well, you started. You know what? That's the best thing. You started. So good for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you can't accomplish anything in life if you never start.
That's right. Now,
and you also can't quit. That's the biggest factor.
That's
People
right.
quit. People start page 20, page 200. They stop.
Right.
Then they go, it never happened. It ain't going to happen if you don't do it.
Yeah.
One of those quotes, one of my favorite quotes is, quitters never win and winners never quit. I think it was Lombardi who said that.
I like that.
Well,
I think the important thing in writing a book, and I've shared this with people who have asked me about, how long did it take you and how much time you dedicate to it. If you dedicate 15 minutes a day in writing, you'll get that book done, because it's not this huge overwhelming undertaking task. It's 15 minutes a day. You can do that.
Well, my goal is to have my book published, or actually completed to be published, by February 1st. So I don't know if that's a lofty goal or an easy goal.
As in, like 2 months from now?
Yes.
Wow. You'll be busy.
I wrote 7 pages on my first day, so we'll see. You know, if I write 7 pages a day, in 30 days I have 210 pages. That's enough to start a book.
Yeah, stay
that's-
with it. Awesome. Good for you.
So, you got any exciting plans for the holidays?
I'm going to be staying local, which is nice. I don't like being on the road.
What is local?
Within an hour radius. My family's all within an hour radius.
Nice.
So, yeah, Ventura, and then locally here in Santa Clarita. Yeah.
Well,
And lots of food.
well, obviously. Although I have to watch that. You know, I was going for a 6-pack, now I'm going for a cake.
You go- Yeah, well, the holidays, you just forget all that stuff. The holidays come and go, you just like, okay, I'm
Well,
going to enjoy it.
That's why January 1st is the number one day for weight loss companies.
Yeah. And the gyms are very crowded.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
until January 3rd. We just talked about that, quitters, right?
Yeah.
I don't judge.
Anyway, so you had some questions for Claudia?
So I am super excited. We'll kind of just recap really quickly. We had you on last week, and we talked about Facebook and Facebook ads and being sponsored and all the nuances of getting, social media with Facebook. We ran out of time. I feel like we had so much to say, and we were talking after the show that there was so much more to talk about, and we wanted to have you back, which is why we have you back. The thing I want to share is years and years and years ago when I first started my first website, you hear about Google AdWords and pay-per-click and SEO and having banners and all this stuff. And I remember just like, I literally was like a deer in the headlights. It was so overwhelming, and there was so much to do, and everyone touted their own, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I'm like, okay, if I can just do one, what do I do? Because I got to focus on one to get anywhere. Right. So a lot of people, and myself included, I reached out for help because I knew I couldn't do it myself.
You didn't go to Ask Brien?
I didn't even know about you back then.
We just started a year ago.
Yeah, so you weren't even around back then.
You had to ask Jeeves.
No, I didn't. I went to somebody, and they hooked me up with a virtual assistant.
Nice.
And they were the tech person. And because the reality is, it's not the best use of my time. I can make more money. I'm more valuable. I can bring more value to people doing other things. Mm-hmm. For me to reinvent and become tech savvy, it was like I was reinventing everything. I'm like, okay, this is not working. So I reached out, got help, which is great, which is what you are. And the other thing I wanted to say was that because in this environment with social media always changing, there's always that shiny object that is the next best thing. And everyone's like, this is absolutely going to be it. You've got to absolutely do this. There's no doubt about it. And you're like, ugh, I got to switch gears again. So it becomes just, again, overwhelming. And it's the paralysis by analysis, situation. So we talked a lot about Facebook. If you didn't catch the last week's show, go back and check last week's show.
I just want to indicate one thing. This is KHTS.
Yes. Well, we'll let you have that job. You're good at watching that. So let's talk about things that we didn't get to last time.
Perfect. So first of all, I'm honored to have been asked back. So it's my pleasure to be here. And you said
we just had nobody else.
Oh, that's not true.
Thanks.
Come on, that's not true.
It's okay. I will always be happy to fill in. But you mentioned two things which I think are really important. One of them is that everybody put in their own spin and said you need to be everywhere. And so wanted to address that really quick because the reality is that we think we need to be everywhere, but we all need to start somewhere. So when it comes to social media and marketing your business, you just need to pick the platform that you're most comfortable with at that time. When I first started out, I didn't start off on Facebook. I started on Twitter. At the time, I was more comfortable on Twitter. Then I moved into Facebook. Now I'm a lot more comfortable on Facebook. Then you move into the different platforms as they go. But start somewhere. And just because it works for someone else doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right platform for you to start out with.
So how do you know which platform to start with?
You start with the one you're most comfortable with.
But
at the end of the day, you start with the one that you're using and that you're okay going to check and you're comfortable playing around in. That's where you start.
But that's where you start. But don't you think that it should have something to do with retail or your industry?
Not necessarily, because the reality is that social media is being social by design. So if no one else can represent your business and yourself as best as you can. There is an element, you can only outsource so much of it. There is an element that you need to be involved with. And if you're not going to be involved in the platform, then it takes you out of the equation. And if you are your business and it is your store, whether it's retail or it's a service that you're offering, if you're not present, you're not present. And it's transparent, and your audience will see that and they will know that. So you need to start where you're comfortable.
But is there a correlation? For instance, Facebook is good for retail, or Facebook is good for a restaurant, or Facebook is good for this, but it's not good for lawyers and doctors and dentists. I mean, isn't there that concept there?
I don't think so. And the reason is because Facebook is good for everything. Yes, I am biased. I'm not going to lie. I'm absolutely biased on Facebook. But if you establish your brand being a personable brand, then Facebook can be interesting and work for any area, even a funeral home, a lawyer. I mean, a dentist. Where you
cardiologist.
I've seen doctors, lawyers, and all kinds of industries on Facebook, and they have a personal page, and they have you get to know their family and everything else.
You get to know who's performing the surgery on you eventually.
And then
right?
And then they have their business page. Yeah. So having said that, LinkedIn is typically more business oriented. Mm-hmm. You see more business focus on LinkedIn, and I get that. But if you're not comfortable with LinkedIn, you don't know LinkedIn from anything, and then you're an attorney, then you're still saying go to Facebook. If you've already got a Facebook page and you're comfortable on Facebook, you're saying go to Facebook.
Start there, because once you get in that habit of being consistent, you can transfer those habits over to any platform. So if let's say you're comfortable on LinkedIn, because you are a lawyer and lawyers tend to find more of their clients in the LinkedIn arena. Right, so that's just a blanket statement. The truth behind it has not been verified, but let's just assume, start with that assumption. If you're comfortable working on LinkedIn and you wake up in the morning and you're used to going and checking your LinkedIn account, and you're used to responding, or you're used to doing some kind of update, and you get in that habit, you can then add a second platform, and it's still that exact same habit. The habit is not necessarily what am I posting and who am I posting it to. The habit is actually posting. It's getting in there and being consistent.
Just do something.
So I have a question. There are these platforms out there and programs out there, some of which I know, where you can log in and you can connect all of your social media accounts.
Like Hootsuite?
Hootsuite, there's Capsule, there's a couple companies out there.
Yeah.
So essentially, even if you're not sophisticated enough or maybe not doing posting in one category, you can actually post in multiple categories simultaneously.
You can, absolutely. And
now,
so
would you post the same message? That's
no, and that is my caution, because what is appropriate on LinkedIn may not be appropriate in a Facebook environment. What's appropriate on Facebook may not be appropriate on LinkedIn. I mean, you can, and vice versa. You can go in, same with Twitter, with any channel that's out there. And so if you're using those types of tools, and absolutely we use those tools all the time for our clients. If you're using those types of tools, you need to make sure that you always consider who the audience is that you're serving, and you need to skew your message in a way that reaches that audience and relates to that audience.
But see, with Facebook, and you correct me if I'm wrong, with Facebook you can drill down and get 18 to 24-year-old shoppers who like cameras, right? I don't think you can do that. Maybe you can on the others.
You can. And so you may not be able to get to that granular level. I don't know all the agreements that they have with the data houses, but I know that LinkedIn has really ramped up their advertising platform as well. And so I've done a little bit of testing on the LinkedIn platform, and you can drill down. It's just a matter of, sometimes we tend to drill down so far that we lose the forest for the trees.
Or that there are 4 people in the world.
Yeah, there's 4 people. And sure, you can absolutely run an ad to get that one person in the world out there.
What about hashtags on Twitter? What about hashtags on Twitter? I mean, isn't that a way to dial that down, so to speak?
In a way. So hashtags were originally created as search identifiers. So if you go on Twitter and you see a hashtag and you click it, it'll show you the different hashtags that are the same hashtag that other people are posting. So it becomes a search identifier. They use it on other platforms as well. Instagram is very popular for hashtags. I wouldn't advise hashtags on LinkedIn. Or Facebook. Facebook looks kind of odd. It does support it.
It does.
But you have to remember the audience and the platform and what's used to being seen. So if you see something that's out of the ordinary, you're either going to stand out for the positive or you're going to stand out for the negative. And the one thing that you don't ever want to be known as is the person that's doing lazy social media. So, for example, when you see a post on Twitter and you see an fb.me link on there, that post was automatically posted from Facebook.
Oh.
Now, will that show through Hootsuite?
Hootsuite is a little bit different. Hootsuite allows you to go and schedule your posting. So
Correct.
you can schedule multiple posts to go to multiple channels at the exact same time, but they are posting it directly to those channels. When you're seeing the fb.me on Twitter, that's because somebody has done an auto connection from Facebook to Twitter.
Okay.
So it's automatically populating. So Hootsuite requires more of an effort.
And if it's from Hootsuite, it'll say via Hootsuite.
Oftentimes.
right?
Sometimes it doesn't.
Okay.
Oftentimes it will. But things like Hootsuite, and again, we use Hootsuite for our agency. We love it. It's been very good. There are a bunch of them out there. And so if you want to go that route, just know that that's one more place you need to be active. So if you're just starting out, pick the social media. Don't worry about all these other tools. Pick the social media channel that you're most comfortable with. And if it is a tool like Facebook and you're posting on your Facebook page, you can pre-schedule your post natively from within Facebook.
This is KHTS.
Okay. So let me ask you this. More times than not, when I see hashtags, especially on Facebook, it's ones that are made up, which are quite entertaining and they make me laugh, but they're not really for any purpose other than just to entertain us, right? I mean, because
you'll see the ones that have hashtags. Like you might see a post on Facebook that is slewed with a bunch of hashtags on it, and then if you notice, see where it's posted from, it was posted from Instagram. So the hashtags make sense on Instagram.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden on Facebook, they're like, what are all these hashtags? And they tend to be related to the topic at hand. But then you see these other ones, that'll say, catch me on Ask Brien this afternoon. It's all hashtagged and it's all one word with, case proper wording on that. And so that is more for probably emphasis.
Okay.
To kind of have a little more fun with it because, the odds of someone having that exact same hashtag would be kind of interesting to click on, but it's used a lot more for emphasis. And so I would use those more sporadically. I wouldn't make those a norm.
Okay.
To use them.
So
Okay.
you talked about hashtag, but what is this significance? People, they see a number sign, they see a hashtag. What you touched upon it, but I don't think you really explained. What to me, hashtag. I see on Twitter, but what does it mean?
It's a search. It's a search feature. So you see a hashtag on it. So say, for example, I want to post about, something interested on, I don't know, mortgages. Let's go with mortgages. Mm-hmm. And Patty makes a post about today's rates or something to that effect, and she puts a hashtags of, today's mortgage rates or today's rate. Whatever that hashtag is. If it's a common hashtag, when I click that, I'll probably get a slew of other people who have also tweeted or posted on Instagram related to that exact same topic. So it's a search. It's a way to search.
So it's searching for similarities of that hashtag.
Absolutely.
So that's what the hashtag
And the
is.
hashtag's important because you should need to know who's searching. If you're running a hashtag, I love houses, and no one's searching that, it doesn't. You're just talking. But if it's a hashtag
of my realtors, you're better than your realtor.
or
my loan officer is better than your officer, or I live where you vacation.
Yeah.
You're going to get similar postings.
Yes, but the search element is so important to know who's searching what.
Right. So there's trending topics.
Trending topics. Yes.
Oftentimes, trending topics are driven by hashtags.
Yes.
So now a lot of the like Twitter now has become much smarter and has evolved, and so the topics don't necessarily need to be driven by hashtags. But if you get a hashtag that's trending out there, it's going to be known.
And I think we have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Awesome.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
KHTS Holiday Music also brought to you by Chiquita Canyon.
From all of us at Chiquita Canyon, we'd like to wish you and your family a happy, prosperous holiday season. This year, Chiquita Canyon is proud to sponsor holiday music on your local hometown station, KHTS. Happy holidays.
Green Thumb International, your lawn and garden professionals, have the widest variety of shrubs, flowering plants, and gardening supplies in the Santa Clarita Valley. This week in your garden, Christmas shopping and decorating can be made easy with a trip to the garden center. Select your Christmas tree along with flowering plants, bulbs, gardening books, or a cheerful poinsettia. Everything for your yard and garden is here at Green Thumb on Newhall Avenue in Old Town Newhall near Sierra Highway. Green Thumb puts the green in your thumb.
The VIP Grotto experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Your experience begins with a clay facial mask. Then you are painted with a soothing aloe vera shea butter coconut oil body mask. In temperatured chambers, you relax and allow the moisturizing masks to work their magic. Finally, you rinse off in a rainforest shower and finish with a pH balancing mist. Treat yourself to this hydrating and refreshing experience at the Ivy Day Spa. Call to reserve your VIP Grotto experience at 260-1244.
City of Hope is a leader in cancer research and treatment, and there's a City of Hope location right here in Santa Clarita, eliminating a major barrier in the fight against cancer: distance to quality care. Santa Clarita has the advantages of City of Hope's renowned clinical expertise, compassionate care, and access to clinical trials. Find out more at cityofhope.org/Santa Clarita or call 661-799-1999.
Buying your home can sometimes be challenging. That's why Charlene Gill with CSMC Mortgage is your Santa Clarita mortgage expert. What's important to you is to secure a loan at the best possible rate, to have a professional guide you through the process, and to close on time. Charlene's 23 years of experience in the mortgage industry and her personal expert knowledge in the Santa Clarita Valley makes her your mortgage expert. Contact Charlene at hometownstation.com/Charlene. hometownstation.com/Charlene.
Something big is coming to Castaic.
Is it a dinosaur, Bob?
No, Blanche.
Is it the 2020 Olympics?
No.
I know. We're finally hosting the World Cup.
No, silly. They're building Castaic High.
Bob, no way.
Way. Go visit CastaicHighProject.com. You'll get all the latest details.
What's that web address again, Bob?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Again?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Bigger than a dinosaur?
That's right. CastaicHighProject.com.
Finding the right lawyer can be a challenge, but in Santa Clarita, there's no need to search when there's Hacker Law Group, Santa Clarita's premier litigation firm. Jeffrey Hacker has represented celebrities, financial institutions, accident victims, real estate developers, realtors, contractors, businesses, nonprofit organizations, and other individuals and companies with their legal challenges. Mr. Hacker is one of Santa Clarita's leaders, consistently listed as one of our most influential. When everything is on the line and you need legal counseling, visit hackerlawgroup.com.
At Jersey Mike's, we make a sub above. Bread baked fresh, veggies served crisp, meat and cheese sliced on the spot. Then comes the juice. Red wine vinegar and olive oil blended to perfection. It's what makes a Jersey Mike's sub a sub to behold. And beholding? Well, we think that works best with two hands. Jersey Mike's, be a sub above.
Your Santa Clarita Jersey Mike's, a proud sponsor of Santa Clarita Sports.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Well, thank you for bringing back the Ask Brien theme song. I did not know what happened. I was totally...
He was lost.
I was lost. I didn't know.
He was so perplexed.
Humming, like from the Honeymooners. What's that, Ralph Cramden? All right.
That's all, folks.
I think that's more like Donald Duck. Anyway,
Bugs
Bunny. Oh, yeah. Anyway, so we were having a great conversation. Again, our guest is Claudia, expert in Facebook, Instagram, and social media in general. And, of course, my colleague, Patty, who the show would not be without. So,
thank you.
Anyway, Patty had some questions regarding, I believe, clicking and Facebook, something along those lines. She'll explain it.
Off air, we were kind of talking about just the websites and the SEO and pay-per-click and all that stuff. But before we go there, let's go back to the LinkedIn and the social media. We didn't touch on Instagram. Okay. And I know Instagram is pretty hot. I think it's almost hotter than Twitter. I hear it's kind of winning over Twitter.
I don't know the actual numbers, but Instagram is growing by leaps and bounds and has grown exponentially over the last couple of years. And Instagram, so one of the questions to preempt your questioning is like, who would benefit from Instagram? Because I know that I've been asked that here. And so Instagram is very visual. It's a very visual platform. And so whatever strategy you employ when it comes to actually using Instagram is it must include sharp visual graphics that capture my attention. And with that, it doesn't mean I need to go hire somebody to make these photos. I mean, we've got our phones and things like that we can use our own, but they've got to be things of interest that's visually interesting, that ties into what your business is.
So how would a business use Instagram?
So everything I just said, plus you would bring in your story. I mean, you can use, there's different strategies for different industries, but when you're thinking of Instagram, just think of how can you show your business in pictures? How can you show your day in pictures or in short snippets of videos? And what will it look like to the audience, and how can the audience benefit by getting value from that?
All right. Well, you're not going to like this question, but I'll ask it anyway. So what is the difference between Instagram and Pinterest?
Well, they're two different things. So, I mean, Instagram is a social media channel that allows you to post your photos, and it's pretty much one way. You know, you post, some people comment, you can go and interact with them afterwards.
The followers see your posts.
The followers see the post, and they like them. Pinterest, think of it as a huge vision board, in a way. And on this huge vision board, I can post pictures, and I can repin pictures of things that I'm interested in. Now, they can be physical things, they can be products, but they're all still based on some kind of graphic that caught my attention. Now, on Instagram, if you click a photo and you click it 2 times, you will have a reaction, which is the heart, which means that you like it, and you can have comments in there. With Instagram, if I click a photo on my vision board that I like, it's gonna zoom into that photo, so it's gonna amplify it, make it larger, and then if I click it again, it'll take me to the website of where this particular photo was actually pinned from.
So a business owner could, let's say I own a furniture store, I can take pictures of my furniture, put it on Instagram, and then somebody goes on the page, says, wow, that's an awesome couch, clicks on it, and then they're going to come to your store.
Not necessarily. What they'll do is they say, okay, so use that exact same scenario. We've got a business owner, we've got a furniture store owner, we show the photo of this couch in this beautiful living room. I post that photo on my Pinterest page, and someone else sees it. They like it. They can either like it or they can repin it. If they repin it, it goes on to people that follow their Pinterest. So it goes on their vision boards. Now, in order for me to actually get someone to drive traffic to my page, whatever my photo is or whatever my caption is must be compelling enough to make me want to click that photo more than once, because it does require a minimum of 2 clicks to get to your blog post or to get to your website or to get to your store page from within Pinterest.
All right, now on Instagram, you can advertise on Instagram?
So yeah, so Facebook owns Instagram, which means that you can then run paid advertising through Instagram. But on Instagram, if you're running advertising, you see a little button, they'll say shop or learn more, things like that. You'll see it's a sponsored post. That's because the ad was generated to give you the ability to click it. But by default, you do not have the ability to just click an image and go to a web page. Currently, what you do is you go to the Instagram profile, and on there is a one spot for you to place one link, and the user can click that one link currently.
But so it only takes one time on Instagram?
No, it takes a minimum of 3 clicks.
I think, for me in the mortgage
technical.
business,
yes.
I think Instagram is one of those things that we use at RI. I'll speak for myself, that I use as one more way to just get exposure and help people learn about me. So my Instagram posts are a combination of my personal pictures, and just things that I'm doing with friends and family and whatever. And then for business, I'll do a picture that's like, if I'm talking about interest rates, or actually I don't talk about rates. I should qualify that. If I'm talking about being confused about a refinance or PMI or FHA or something of that nature, like recently I had a picture of this little girl with her eyes cross-eyed and looking all confused, and then I said, are you confused about PMI or something of that nature, and then I put my website, as just a link. If someone is confused, that picture captured their attention,
right?
And then they want to learn more, they click on me, and they can obviously learn about me. So that's kind of how I use it, and I think that I see other people and other business owners, they kind of do the same thing.
Yeah, as long as they have a strategy behind it. And so oftentimes I think when it comes to social media in general, whether they're using Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, they just kind of go. They don't really stop to think about, why am I really doing
What's
this?
the message I want to deliver?
Right, and why, and what's the result I'm looking to get from it? And how can I then structure my message in a way that allows me to get closer to getting my desired result? So everything that you do, regardless of whatever channel, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Pinterest, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, there needs to be it needs to be with purpose. So I talk to people about, you have to do social media with purpose. Post with purpose. Don't post for the sake of posting.
Listen to KHTS.
That's a really good point, because I think a lot of business owners don't have that focus. They don't have that clear understanding of what they want to, what brand they want to deliver, what message they want to send. They have an idea of what they want to put out there, but it's not dialed in. So
I
the
think
message is
actually
confused.
they have an idea of what they want at the end result. So they see the finish line, they see the reward, they see, I want sales, this needs to generate leads. Whenever I speak to a business owner, this is what they tell me. Why do you want to do social media? Because I need sales, I need more clients.
So let's strategize here for a second, okay? So let's say I want to sell widgets. Widgets
Okay.
are a really big item now.
Okay, cool.
It's actually bigger than Instagram.
Okay.
So I want to sell widgets, okay? And I'm a brand new customer and I'm coming to you, okay? How are you going to create this program or strategize to get something from, okay, I'm just starting out, my startup company is widgets.com, and it's a great name to get, okay? How am I going to get that from there to conversions to sales to make my money?
So here's the first question I was asking you is, how many other people are also selling widgets?
Well, widgets are very popular.
So everyone is selling widgets. So
Everyone's got a
we're going to
widget.
think of like the spinners.
Ask Brien is thinking of selling widgets.
There you go. Ask Brien is thinking of selling widgets. So first thing what I would look at is I would look at your actual social media landscape. What does that look like? What do you have in place? So you have your website. It's already in place.
So that's the first item. You need a
Right.
website.
You do need a website. And there's some controversy right now. And there's people who are going to think a little bit differently. Like, oh, I don't need a website. And the reality is I do believe
Could you just have a landing page?
Yeah, and the landing page is the same. You need to have an asset that you control. So there are companies out there that don't have a website, don't have a landing page. They've got a Facebook page, and that is their business page. And there's a trend going in that direction. And so again, I mentioned earlier on the hour, I'm very biased towards Facebook. I love Facebook, but I do believe that you need an asset that you can control, and you don't control Facebook.
Yeah, you have a certain presence when you have your own website.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if someone wants to research me more, so we're going to start with that. Then I want to look and see where is the audience that you want to reach. Now, everybody could love widgets, but there's going to be a specific...
Most of the people that want widgets, they are typically Americans living, with a demographic of maybe $55,000 to $85,000 a year, and they're a little bit more females than males, and most of their age groups are like 34 to the 45 age group.
And what is your price point on your widgets? Is it low cost or is it high dollar?
So my widgets are $97.
Okay, so that's pretty common out on social media. So what I would tell you is, first of all, we need to think about your goals, content, and your targeting.
My goal is to be rich, rich, rich.
Yeah, and that's everybody's goal. However, when it comes to doing social media, there are different types of goals. There are goals to build awareness, there's goals to build engagement, and there's goals to actually work towards conversion.
So what would you start with?
I always start with awareness.
So brand
Now with that,
building your brand name.
Absolutely. And with that, however, the business owner never wants to start with awareness. They always want to start with conversion. So we can certainly start with conversion. The reality is your cost per conversion is going to be much higher because you're constantly hitting a cold audience. So think of that as going, if you have to sell this widget in a parking lot and you've got to go to every single car in that parking lot every single day, and every single time it's a whole new set of cars, it's never duplicated cars, and you need to explain what that widget is every time. It's going to take you much longer to sell that widget.
Very expensive.
Right? So now if you start with awareness and you build up to engagement, now those cars start to come in the parking lot more frequently. They already know who you are, and eventually they're like, oh, hey, there's the widget guy. Let's go buy from him. This is where I got my widget. Come buy from this widget or this widget producer. So what happens is your cost per conversion becomes much less. So the reality is, sure, you can hit a cold audience and start in the engagement phase. You're going to bang your head against the wall a couple of times. You may be lucky. When one of my clients, we did a cold campaign to a brand new audience, and we had a $7,000 sale within a week. She
What was the item?
That. It was a coaching service.
But how much was it?
$7,000.
Right, so you hit one sale.
So it was one sale. She loved it. But then what happens when you don't get that sale the second week or the third week or the fourth week? What happens then? Or what if that price, how much are you willing to spend for that $97 sale? How much are you willing to spend for that $5,000 sale? On social media, the common reaction is, well, nothing, because it's free. So there's this disconnect of expectations.
Yeah.
So where do we start with your widgets? My advice, we start in awareness, we move through engagement, and we go to conversion.
So when you say awareness, so you're talking about building up the brand name. So what are you talking about? Just advertising and marketing the word Dell and just keep on saying Dell?
No, I talk about telling me how Dell changed other people's lives. Tell me how Dell how Dell is easier to work with over someone else.
Try to tell stories how you build your name.
Absolutely.
Well, it's the why.
It's the why.
Yeah.
It's the why is this a good thing? Why is this interesting?
How is this changing your life?
Right.
What am I doing to you? So on that note, I'm going to tie this kind of together with a bow with what we're kind of going with here. Tell us about marketing funnels, because exposure, building a brand, websites, all that comes to this marketing funnel.
Right.
So that being a great way to sell your widget.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so funnels is it's not a new buzzword, but it is a buzzword we're hearing a little bit more of, I would say, in the last year, 18 months or so. And the funnel is the process by which you bring the user through or the viewer through in order to eventually convert.
Right, so the top of the funnel would be the brand awareness, right?
Would be awareness, or they considered audience, depending on which marketing channel you go through. So it's getting the word out there. So how do you get this slew of people to get to know about you? Now, online, when it comes to social media marketing funnels, we need to think about, how do we take you off the platform? How do we take you out of Facebook so then I can sell to you outside of Facebook? I can sell almost everything on Facebook, but you can't.
So you offer a freebie.
So, right. So maybe a very common factor is to offer some kind of, they call them a freemium or a lead magnet. So it's some kind of item of value that's being exchanged for contact information. It may be you're offering a complimentary consultation where they schedule an appointment with you, valued at a certain amount. But you're getting that information. Once you get that information, it allows you then to continue to foster the relationship outside of that social media
So is that where you start to build your list?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're looking to build your email list, what you want to do is figure out what do I have a value that would be valuable to the user, not to you, valuable to your audience, that will make them want to give you their email address.
So those landing pages that you see with all this great sales, text, download this, and this will help you do this, this, and this.
Right.
Enter your email address, first name. Most people think, okay, no big deal. They put
they
their
pass it through,
email,
right.
and they get their nice download.
And I think it's really important to distinguish that there's actually a difference between a website and a landing page. So a website is where I can go learn more things. There's multiple places I can click. When I think of a landing page, and when
It's a one page.
It's not even one page. It's one page with a single action that you can take. It is not a page that then links me to the about section, which features lower down. It's not the page which takes me to direction and then it takes me to the bottom of the page and it's a map. That's a web page. Right.
That can be a home page on a website if you do like the opt-in.
Right, depending on how you've got your things.
Yeah.
But your landing page says you go to this page, and the expectation is either for you to take action, to give the information that I'm asking for, the email information, and to click download now or submit or whatever, or leave, or close out and leave. That's a landing page. So when you're building your email list, don't send them to your website. Send them to a page where there's one specific action they can take, and they either take that action or they leave. By them taking that action, now you have their information, and you follow up with an email marketing campaign or a retargeting campaign on Facebook or whatever other channel you're using to make sure that you stay in front of them, that they continue to get to know you.
What if they bounce or leave without putting in any information?
Well, then are they your ideal client then? Or
we don't know. Maybe they will be.
Well, maybe they will be, but then you haven't clearly established enough value in your download for them to download it.
I've seen,
isn't valuable enough for them.
Yeah, I've seen some situations where I go to opt out and it pops up with a pop-up. Are you sure you want to leave?
That's what I was getting at.
It'll tell you something like, please, download or something of that nature. So that's one thing.
Or a bigger discount.
Or something of that,
Right.
yeah, to try to get you to do, put your email address in. The other thing I've also seen is that you put your email address and now you're taken to the website.
Right, so you're taking a website, or even like on my page right now, shameless plug, ClaudiaSheridan.com. I have a pop-up that comes up when you scroll about 30% down that tells you, hey, I'm doing a free webinar on Tuesday. Would you like to be a part of it? Do you want to learn more? And when they click it, it actually sends them a message in their Facebook Messenger. So I'm not even saying,
Nice.
hey, give me your email address. I'm saying, click this. I'm going to send you the information in your Facebook Messenger, and then you can take action from
That's
there.
cool.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can do
So
it.
how do you get that address then?
For which address?
If you're using it through the Facebook for the webinar.
Well, see, then that would be for me to actually then want to entice you enough to want to give me that address later on. And with Facebook Messenger and what they've done with automation is that you can have bots, so you can actually remarket these people. So the reality is once you log in and once you take an action with my bot, you are now part of my bot subscriber list, which then I can send you a message later on that says hey, don't forget.
So you don't need to enter your email contact.
You don't even need to enter the email. So sometimes,
has a bot.
right? So sometimes people will be more comfortable with the bot because now you just don't have my personal contact information. Other times people find it intrusive, and so it's really important to provide your information in a way that the audience can associate with. What is their most comfortable way? Which means you can't just do it one way. You do it multiple ways. I have a messenger. I have a pop-up that gives you the email address. I run Facebook ads. I do a lot of different things to try and get to the user in a way that they're used to and was comfortable interacting with me.
And each user is going to be different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we've got to take a break, and we'll be right back.
The city of Santa Clarita has so much going on this year. Be on the lookout for amazing events happening throughout the year, including the Cowboy Festival, concerts in the park, Thursdays at New Hall, and the Santa Clarita Marathon. There are also a number of fun activities and things to do year-round, including outdoor recreation, hiking and bike trails, adult classes, art exhibits, youth sports programs, and more. You can even sign up to be a volunteer. Learn more at santa-clarita.com.
The stress was unbelievable.
Debbie Morris is a changed woman.
A giant boulder's been lifted.
Debbie called Made for You.
I'd finished a day of work.
Professional, residential, and commercial cleaning.
Walk into my house.
Made for You.
It was an absolute pigsty.
Weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even one-time seasonal cleaning.
Our mess kept growing.
255-2922.
Even when we weren't home.
255-2922.
Made for You rescued me.
Experience the spirit of giving and the thrill of savings at the Outlets at Tejon, a holiday shopping destination unlike any other. Shop amazing deals during extended hours all month long to find the perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Save up to 65% on over 60 of the top brands in fashion, accessories, and home goods, like Coach Factory Store, Gymboree Outlet, H&M, Pottery Barn Outlet, Nike Factory Store, Michael Kors, Express Factory Outlet, and more. Outlets at Tejon, your must-shop stop for the holidays. Located just 40 minutes north off I-5. For sales and events, join the VIP Club online at TejonOutlets.com or find us on Facebook.
Shop the Outlets at Tejon this holiday season and save up to 65% off on gifts from store favorites like H&M, Nike Factory Store, Gap Outlet, Justice Factory Store, Levi's Outlet Store, and more. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. and Sunday, 10 a.m. till 8 p.m. Visit TejonOutlets.com for deals.
With Facey Medical Group, good health is within your reach. Our doctors provide Santa Clarita's finest primary and specialist care at 4 convenient Santa Clarita locations. If you're looking for connected, convenient, personal care, there's no better place. We accept most health insurance, including plans offered through Covered California. Call 1-844-MY-FACEY for more information or to schedule an appointment.
City of Hope is a leader in cancer research and treatment, and there's a City of Hope location right here in Santa Clarita, eliminating a major barrier in the fight against cancer: distance to quality care. Santa Clarita has the advantages of City of Hope's renowned clinical expertise, compassionate care, and access to clinical trials. Find out more at cityofhope.org/Santa Clarita or call 661-799-1999.
Buying your home can sometimes be challenging. That's why Charlene Gill with CSMC Mortgage is your Santa Clarita mortgage expert. What's important to you is to secure a loan at the best possible rate, to have a professional guide you through the process, and to close on time. Charlene's 23 years of experience in the mortgage industry and her personal expert knowledge in the Santa Clarita Valley makes her your mortgage expert. Contact Charlene at hometownstation.com/Charlene. hometownstation.com/Charlene.
I love it.
Right on!
Your hometown station.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we are here with Claudia Sheridan, and we are here with my distinguished guest, Patty Handy. That's with a Y or an I?
Patty with an I, Handy with a Y.
So here we go, folks. So we were talking to Claudia. She was giving us some information. We had some questions from the audience on LinkedIn. So we want to get some background there. I know you have a lot of expertise in Facebook and Instagram. That's your main focus, but we want to get some information about LinkedIn. So how would a business owner, somebody in Santa Clarita Valley that's got a store, how could they do something with LinkedIn?
Well, see, I think the important thing to remember is that when it comes to LinkedIn, you're really looking at business to business a lot of times, because it is a much more of a professional, like, for example, don't go post your family vacation photos on LinkedIn. That is not the appropriate audience for that.
I'll take them down now.
Take them down. Keep those on Facebook, right? Because you have to understand where the audience are and what the expectations are. LinkedIn has a lot of traffic between the normal business hours, but in the evenings, it's pretty much, lights out, business is done.
What if you have a bar?
Well, but if you're at a bar, unless
No,
you're
if you
looking,
have a bar.
if you have a bar and you're looking to connect maybe with bar suppliers, or you're looking to connect maybe with some kind of show or things like that, that's where you go to that. If, however, let's say you have a bar and you're catering to a specific clientele, like all of a sudden I'm thinking of the show Ally McBeal back in the day. I know that dates me, but Ally McBeal, the lawyers tend to have a specific bar that they would always go to, right? So if I'm a bar and I'm appealing to a specific professional demographic, then maybe being on LinkedIn would be a good place for me to put myself in front of, hey, let us host your gatherings, things like that. But it's not somewhere where I'm going to sell widgets.
And that would be through an ad.
It could be through an ad. So it can also be through your own consistent posting of valuable content that people will follow that will get seen organically.
Like the recipe for margarita.
Oh, the recipe for a margarita would be appropriate in that arena if you're tying it into some kind of professional manner and a professional message. The recipe to a margarita on, hey, just makes margarita because it's good,
No, because
would
I want
probably do better.
To come to my bar and get the margarita.
Right, but I don't go to LinkedIn to look for recipes. I might go to Pinterest to look for recipes, or I might go to a Facebook group to look for recipes. I don't go to LinkedIn to look for recipes. I go to LinkedIn to communicate with other business owners or with other professionals that are looking to elevate their businesses or transition their businesses.
Now, does LinkedIn have events?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm sure that they do. I don't know.
Because I see it more as a networking environment, right? So, I'm a lawyer. She's in mortgages, so I have a real estate person. They want to get a loan. I contact her. She's got somebody. They've got a legal issue. She contacts me, right? That's the way I can envision LinkedIn. But for a store owner, how would they? It
would depend on what they're peddling. If they're peddling widgets. Depends on what the widget does.
Widgets are very popular now.
Widgets are very popular. If it's a furniture store, I might be looking to how can I outfit your actual office, or your executive rental suites. I would keep it at a professional level.
But with business, you wouldn't be going to, hey, buy the furniture for your house. It looks great.
I probably wouldn't be looking at buy.
That's not on a LinkedIn thing.
Yeah, it's not. You're going to be the odd man out. So, for example, I was on LinkedIn a couple weeks ago, and there was a picture of a girl in a bikini. And it was like, okay,
That's odd.
It was odd, and it was striking because...
Yes, but it catches your attention.
Well, of course it does, because, why it for the obvious reasons to catch your attention, but it also catches your attention because it is completely out of the norm of what I would expect to see on LinkedIn. Now, it did capture my attention. I was like, oh, this is kind of weird. I read it. Well, it's a clothing company that's trying to launch this line, and now it started to paint its picture and make a little bit more sense to me. But it was so strikingly obviously out of the norm. So if it's a furniture company and you're selling home furnishings, take the message to this is not how we furnish out your home. Maybe this is how we furnish your executive rentals or things like that, your executive suites. Now, there's nothing to say I can't buy that couch and still put it in my home.
But so focus on the business part of it.
I'd focus on the business part because there's business people on LinkedIn.
But that ad probably captured a lot of attention, which is exactly what they wanted.
Right.
So it could have been very productive.
Yeah, you're either going to stand out, I'm
so it's great for brand awareness.
Well, I'm sure that it offended just as much as it pleased the same amount of people. And I think that's important too, is that you're always going to have a mix in your audience. And that's okay as long as you have a goal, you consider your target audience, and
Know
you
your
craft
audience.
the content accordingly.
Yeah.
I thought there's no such thing as bad publicity, as, all publicity is good.
I'm not a publicist in terms of that type of publicity, but I know that, if your name is out there, I would prefer my name to be saddled with something good than something negative.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of that as well.
Yeah.
There's reality shows that make millions, and yet I look at them and I scratch my head and go, okay.
How did that happen?
How and why do people watch that? And, it's
And
just
different messages resonate with different people differently.
Now-
So you need to make sure you get your message across to the people that you want it to resonate with.
For LinkedIn, do you know what information you can obtain? I know it's a very broad question.
It is a very broad question.
For instance, on Facebook, you can go down to the demographics, go down to various. Could I pick bankers within the Santa Clarita Valley?
you could actually search, because I will do that. I will search, like in my business.
Real estate agents in Santa Clarita.
Realtors, real estate, and it'll come up with all the real estate agents in my.
I'm sure at the very minimum you're going to have demographic characteristics that you can search upon.
And then can you contact them, or they have to be your LinkedIn friends?
Well, if you get an ad in front of them, their hope is that they contact you.
You can connect with them. You can ask them to be, connect.
Yeah, you can always ask, and that's very popular now. If you look at the terms and agreements, it says that you should connect people you know, but the reality is there's more and more requests coming people that you don't know that are looking to connect for various reasons.
So we have to go, but before we go, you have a webinar coming up. What was that?
I do. So if you're so compelled and you're interested in learning about how to make your traffic work for you and figuring out where your traffic comes from on your website, and how to make the most of that, we do have a webinar, and it's called Traffic Secrets. Tracking Traffic Secrets. It's on Tuesday. You can get more information on ClaudiaSheridan.com, and I'm going to spell that for you, ClaudiaSheridan.com. And please, I'd love to have you there. There's no cost. So we're just going to give you a bunch of free, valuable information that you can then use for your own marketing.
Awesome. Everyone loves free.
Thank you very much. We had a great
Thanks
show.
for coming back, Claudia.
Thank you guys so much for having me.